You're a singer now as well, are you, Fabio?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
This is Umar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. Well, Fabio Wardley just keeps on doing it. He keeps on landing himself a big fight after big fight. And I've come into the gym here in Ipswich today and actually seen your little girl for the first time.
Yeah.
11 weeks, time's flown. So I guess the motivation levels, the hunger, the desire was always there with you, but it's gone up a notch, Fabio?
Yeah, definitely. I think you could always tell I was always hungry, always ambitious, always wanted to do more. But yeah, these are very similar days now where like she's here at the gym with me or mum's bringing her in to swap. We're almost like swapping shifts because mum loves to train as well. So when I'm done, we swap out and I'll take her home and do whatever. So yeah, it works both ways because it works as a great motivator, but at the same time, it's a nice little release as well and just like switch off. And it's nice to just turn your brain off and just play with her and do whatever else. So yeah, everything's moving really well.
Did she wake up with her hands like that?
Yeah, honestly, if I showed you some of the pictures early on, I'll show you after. But in the womb, her hand is up like this. She's got a better defense than me, to be honest.
Yeah, she's not copying her dad.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, so going off that last fight with Justis, Huni, that you're coming off such a high. Obviously, the fight wasn't panning out perhaps how you wanted, but you did admit that that could happen with someone like Justis, Huni. But you're coming off such a high. The momentum's great. However, you're both, when I say both, you and Joseph Parker in fantastic positions. WBO number 1, WBA number 1. You're there for Oleksandr Usyk, whoever has the belt. So fair play, firstly, to both of you for getting in that ring together and risking both your positions, because a lot of fighters say they'll fight anyone, but I think you two guys are demonstrating that is what you do. Yeah,
I think it's a fair point. Credit to Joe as well, because there may even be an argument that he's in a slightly better position to me. That obviously the mandatory for the WBO is the next one, so he's risking a bit more, but he has been sat on the shelf for a little bit longer as well, and we know what inactivity can do to a fighter. So credit to him for just going, no, I'm not trying to sit around and wait. I want to get things moving. Again, a man very much of my own ilk who doesn't want to sit and wait and sit on the sidelines and wait for something almost to be gifted or handed to you. Go grab it. Go get it. Like, where's the opportunity? Where's the fight? Where's the big moment, the big occasion? Set me up for it and I'll jump in. Like, I ain't playing around. It's not hanging around. There hasn't been too many games or back and forth with this. It was quite a simple discussion, like from Joe's team. You up for it? Yes. From me, of course. Yup. Let's get it on. Figure out a few little details and we're there.
Yeah, look, and it's on a massive stage here, headlining the O2, October 25th. And I spoke to Frank Warren a few days ago, and I asked him the question from a business point of view. You've got two of your premier heavyweights there in pole positions. Why are you putting them in together? And he said, well, it's my final eliminator for Oleksandr Usyk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, Frank is he's put himself in a fantastic position because he's scooped up a good 80% of the heavyweight division, or at least the top boys. He's got most of those under his banner. So one way or another, we're going to have to fight each other at some point. But yeah, for him, it's a double winner because either way, he's got another go at Oleksandr Usyk, either via me or via Parker. So yeah, look, we're both ambitious. We both want that shot. We want to be the next one at him, to have a go at him, because neither me nor Parker has had a go at Usyk yet. So a different test, a different challenge. And look, get this out of the way. And funny to say, but one fight away from fighting Oleksandr Usyk is a bit of a mad one for me personally.
Yeah, one big shot, one big right hand away from Usyk. We'll come on to that in a second. But in terms of Joseph Parker, obviously this is the biggest test of your life. He's arguably second, third best heavyweight in the world right now. So from the Justis Huni fight, who's a tremendous fighter himself, but this is a sort of a bigger, stronger version, if you like, of Justis Huni with great speed, great skill set. So what's the discussions been with your coaches about going into this fight? Obviously, you don't want to take the same sort of punishment that you were taking in the Huni fight. So what adaptations are you going to make for this, Fabio?
Yeah, look, the Huni fight had some pluses, but quite a few minuses as well. Some areas to look back on, and that's nothing I'm ever going to shy away from at all. I've always been very open with the fact that I'm still very much learning on the job and figuring things out. Unfortunately, I come through in that fight and in other fights, and when maybe things aren't going perfectly, but aside from having all the skill, I do have grit, determination, and a will to win, and that is a big factor as to how you get through tough fights like that. But I've proven as well, once over already, but in other situations, that in my career, when you take the first Fraser fight, for example, take that, wasn't a great performance from me personally. Look at it, okay, cool, adapt it, assess from my team, where did we go wrong, what did we do? What am I doing wrong as a fighter? How do we adjust and move forward into the next one? And then obviously we all know what happened in the second fight. And that's the same mentality I'm taking into this. And yes, Joseph Parker is a different fighter, of course. It's not like a rematch or anything like that. But ultimately, I have to look at myself in that fight and go, what did I do wrong? Where could I improve? And apply that. And that's all we've been doing since that Justis Huni fight ended, since that was over a few weeks later. Back, looking at it, analysing, going, okay, sort this out, fix this up, work on this and work on this.
So defensively that night against Justis Huni, you would say you were poor in that fight, yeah? Yeah,
fair. Again, I'm not going to hide from nothing and say, it was this or that, it was the other. It was, he was a very good opponent that hadn't been visibly seen, is a better way to put it, because people do know actually that he's a very good opponent, or a very good fighter, I should say. But he hadn't been visibly seen on the big stage to offset all them skills and for everyone to see and go, oh, actually, he's got skill set A, B, C. And unfortunately for me, he just pulled out all the tricks on the night and I was the one on the receiving end of them. But ultimately, look, it's just a fight to learn from. It's not every day or every fight or every night I'm going to come in stellar, perfect performances. I'm very plain about, like I say, learning on the job, figuring things out. It was a new type of that was a whole new type of style that I've come up against in the professional ranks or in a fight at all, and something I had to figure out in the moment. And kind of, it took me 9 rounds to figure it out. I did well in round 1, and then things kind of switched up a bit, and then got the guy out of there in round 10. So yeah, it took me a while to learn on the job, but again, that's a skill I credit to myself having as well, is being able to adapt in the moment as well and go, right, things aren't going the right way here. How do we swap things around? And that's a skill set I do definitely think I have as well.
Would you say then, going into a Joseph Parker fight, that was an ideal fight to have, because they're both sharpshooters, both very quick? Obviously, Parker's a bit bigger and bangs more, but ideal preparation, would you say?
Yeah, in a weird way. They have, don't get me wrong, they're not the same, but they have similarities. And there's a very easy way to just look at my previous fighter and go, right, you went wrong here. Joseph does do X, Y, Z, which is similar to Justis. And like you say, Justis maybe doesn't hit as hard. So there are some circumstances where, I let them go in that first fight, but I can't be doing that this time around. And I'm man enough, I'm big enough to go, look at my own flaws and go, I'm not going to go, of course, whatever, I got through it, so what, crack on, move on. Because I know as you up the levels, I can't be the same fighter every time. I need to be different. I need to have different aspects to my game and just turn up differently, with more added too. So that's what we've been doing, and that's what I'm looking to show on fight night.
Okay. I said this to Joseph Parker, looking at that Justis Huni fight, are you essentially going to just box and move and work your way to a decision win, essentially? And he said, actually, no, at times I'm happy to meet Fabio in the middle of the ring and go at it, which is music to your ears, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think he would have... I never really would have assumed too much that he was just going to bounce and move and box in circles either. Because although he does have that skill set in there, it's not really something we've seen from him as of late.
No, he does stay in range.
He stays in range, stays in the space, stays in the pocket. If anything, he's a bit more aggressive and likes to apply a bit of pressure. So I don't really feel like I'm going to have to go looking for him, especially too much. There may be spells where he takes a little bounce and move and a little jog off and whatever else. But I don't really feel like I'm going to have to go looking for him too much. And knowing Joe in the broad way that I do, he's a fighter at heart. He likes to get stuck in. You've seen it in his fights. He's quite happy to throw down with you, stand there and trade with you and have it out and kind of roll the dice a bit and see who comes out on top. And like, with me, that's an obvious one. You know what you get from me. I'm happy to do exactly the same. So yeah, that's where I think there's going to be some drama in this fight as well, is that people are going to know when we get within range of each other and fists start flying, someone's going somewhere.
For sure. And look, he's had his eyes set on Usyk for quite a while now. And I said to him, look, you're going in someone who's not got any sort of amateur experience. He's still learning on the job. But when you look at his power, it's 10 out of 10. When you look at his chin, at the moment it's been 10 out of 10. And when you look at his heart, it's 10 out of 10. And those three aspects, it doesn't matter what else you've got or haven't got, that makes you an extremely dangerous fight, especially in the heavyweight division. So I think he won't overlook you. He knows what he's going in with.
Nah, not at all. I don't think, one thing I'd never say about Joseph Parker is that he's arrogant enough, or arrogant in any instance really, but arrogant enough to go, oh, nah, that's just going to be a wash. Even if my last performance wasn't particularly great as well. I don't think he would look at that singular performance and go, right, okay, that's the Fabio Wardley I'm going to get. So no worries here, nothing to bother about. Like you just stated, I've got certain key elements that you can't take away from me. So regardless if I don't turn up in perfect form, I've got a right hand that can switch off at any minute. I've got a solid chin and grit and will to keep me in there for 12 rounds. So at any minute I can land on you. It can go all south for you. Don't get me wrong, that's never the ultimate game plan. I want to box properly, do it the right way and get the win in the right fashion. But there is always that fallback plan B there. So him, as well as Andy Lee and his team, great coach, very smart guy. So again, they're not going to be, I highly doubt they'd be silly enough to go, yeah, that's the kind of Fabio Wardley we're going to get. So don't panic too much. Just do this.
Look, we've seen him get knocked out before against Joe Joyce, but he took like a ridiculous amount of punishment before that. And that was a different Joseph Parker then. He's improved with age. And we've seen him go in the ring with Zhang, got dropped twice, who's arguably the biggest puncher in the division, got back up and won the fight. So what's interesting here is I've said you've got 10 out of 10 art, so is he. He won't give in, he's a Samoan. So let's say you do drop Joseph Parker. Do you believe you've got enough power to keep him down, Fabio?
Look, I definitely do believe I've got enough power to keep him down. Whether it will be on the first time or it might have to be the second, third or fourth, I don't know. I'm very much expecting to crack him, land on him hit the ground and then him get back up and look me out and then come after me again. So I'm not planning for almost like a Justis Huni moment where it's that big right hand, boom, blang, and it's all over kind of thing. I think whether it's the second, third, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th round, I think one way or another he's going to find his way to his feet. That's one thing he has proven. Same way I've proven I've got power, chin and whatever else. He's proven he's got a huge amount of heart and desire. And even if it, like you say, Zhang, one of the biggest punchers in the division, gets back up, not once but twice. So it's something we're aware of and we're planning for as well, is to look, yeah, there's a likelihood you will land on him and he may go down, but there's a strong likelihood he'll get back up as well. So you need to be prepared for that. It can't be just balls to the wall, like throw every punch at him to get him down and then he gets back up and I've blown my load and I'm absolutely done for and then he ends up getting me up. So yeah, strategic about it.
Across the 12 rounds, though, do you expect to knock him out at some point?
I definitely expect to. Again, I doubt through the 12 rounds there's going to be a moment where he doesn't get clipped by me and doesn't hit the floor. So yeah, I expect to. And with Sim, what I'm like when I have my opponent going, when I've hurt them, I don't let off the gas. Like I'm in front of you and putting the work on you and keeping the pressure on. So I can still do that, knowing Parker, knowing his resilience, be a little bit more coy about it, a little bit more tactical, but very much just keep the pressure on.
Well, if you do knock him out, make sure you don't book a holiday to Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think I'm wanted over that side of the country at all, because if I do these two back to back, I can't ever go over there.
That's all they've got in heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I'll have taken them both out, and then I'm in trouble.
Certainly. Right, we did touch upon it, and I'll talk about it now. It won't be right to talk about it on Fight Week because you've got Joseph Parker in front of you, which is a huge test in itself. But you are one shot away from fighting Oleksandr Usyk, which is like pretty mental to say, Fabio.
Yeah. I think me and my team had this, or at least me and my coach Rob. We on a car journey back from training. We was having a weird conversation of almost just stopping and thinking for a second and thinking about, because it's been me and him from the beginning, from the first time I laced up a pair of gloves. It's been me and Rob, and we had this weird kind of surreal moment of, what the fuck? Hang on. We started this journey 10 years ago, and I could be one punch away from fighting Oleksandr Usyk for the unified heavyweight title. Like, what's going on here? Hang on, how have you pulled this off? You're just supposed to be some little old white collar kid that's just come out of obscurity, out of Ipswich. White collar, no one cares about that. Ipswich, no one knows what that is. Like, what are you doing up there with those type of big names and those big boys? So we had a weird kind of surreal moment, a little mini pat yourself on the back, but also don't get distracted because there's a big test in front of you beforehand. Like, that's great. That pot of gold, or whatever you want to call it over there, is fantastic. But in between that is a very dangerous guy.
For sure. No matter though whether it's Joseph Parker, I mean Usyk might trump it, but will anything be that night in Portman Road? Because you cemented yourself in Ipswich's history books forever.
Yeah, I think that it's weird because that will definitely, for as long as I live, that will be one of the most special nights of my life. That month, probably in general, between having the fight and then a week later, my first child being born, my daughter, them 7 days will just forever be like ingrained in my brain of just what a mental time period that was. But that occasion, that night, like the town turning out for me and just being able to like, and look, don't get me wrong, the fight didn't go my way, but also the drama to it does add to a better story. No one likes a perfect story that all goes right. Let's say I boxed his head off and got him out in 6-7 rounds, and yeah, okay, that is great in a different way, but for a story to look back on, being down and everyone thinking it's bad and it's over and you're not going to get through this and and then the shot comes and I get him and then
it's Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, like it's Hollywood, it's film stuff. It's like, and the place, I've never seen a front row like that's probably more than the knockout. I think that's something I've replayed more than the knockout, is that front row of like Frank and George and the team and all the boys there and like Lee and that, and everyone just going nuts, and I'm just like, this is like you say, Hollywood stuff. So if you was going to write a movie, like a Rocky film or something, that's how it goes. Like, he was getting punched up by Ivan Drago for however many rounds and then comes back and wins and whatever. Like, that's how the movies go. So it is one of those.
I'm actually going to get you to rewatch it and I'll clip it up and get your reaction to it.
Lee Eaton's flying around.
Lee Eaton and Moses are the two happiest people.
Literally, like, I don't think I've seen that much emotion from Moses even when he wins his own fights. I'm like, yeah, it was like, that was so special, so special, because there's a camera angle, I think from DAZN or something, from the side, and you just see everyone leave their seats. You see Eddie still saying it, he doesn't get up. He sits there like, fuck.
Yeah, Eddie and Spencer.
Ed sat there like, fuck's sake, I was almost there. But yeah, no, it's all good fun. It was, yeah, it was historic. It was really historic. And for me to say I've done that and been a part of that, organise it, put it all together, whatever else. And again, thank you to the club. Thank you to Mark Ashton. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes that helped put all that together, because it was a literal dream come true.
Absolutely. Just mentioning Moses before we close off, was it a bit of an awkward one watching the other night? Because obviously Moses is someone you know very well, you're at the same gym, but Dillian Whyte's your boy, he's your manager. Was that a bit of a strange one to watch?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird one. It was a weird one because I'm caught in two sides, because obviously Ben, one of my coaches, always want him to do well and succeed, but Dill is without blood a brother to me in that sense. Like he gave me this opportunity. I wouldn't be where I am today without him, and he's been alongside me for every step, every fight, always there, either at the fight, on the end of the phone, at a call, this, that, the other, whatever I needed, he's always been there for me. So to me, he's family for all intents and purposes. Dillian Whyte to me is family. So that's very much where it became very hard for me to watch and see, and obviously there's no, it's not to pick a side or anything like that. It's just not in anything I was doing. It was just two sides that I cared about facing off, and I just kind of have to sit there like the middleman and just think nothing to. I just like whatever happens, either way, I'm happy and sad on both sides. But
what did you actually think of Moses though?
Moses in himself obviously looks like 10-10. He looks unreal. He looks in great form, great shape, lightning fast, like puts his punches together so well, different up, down, mixing the variation is class. And again, he proved it in that occasion. So he's just not even saying he's come on leaps and bounds, but he's got, I don't even think like you've really seen the top level of him just yet. I think there's still a lot more to see that he hasn't even pulled out of the bag just yet. So, yeah, he's got a lot more to come for him.
He certainly has, but two people in their primes are Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley, and they throw down at the O2 Arena via Queensbury, and DAZN putting this huge show on. Go get your tickets. If people want tickets from yourself, how can they do so, Fabio?
If they usual route now, contact Matt, a member of my team who organises all the tickets. But look, drop me a message, drop Matt a message if you want tickets. We'll make sure you sort it out. But this is going to be a special night. When people have been asking me about this and the team and things, I'm just saying one way or another, there's going to be some drama going on. Something dramatic is going to happen. You 9 times out of 10 get that with me anyway in any fight. But I think if you throw Joseph Parker into the mix as well, I think that's almost 100% guarantee that there's drama somewhere in that fight.
If you look at the two fights you both had at the O2, Joe Parker with Dillian Whyte, which was one of the most dramatic fights I've ever seen. And then you had Fraser Clark one, which was probably the second most dramatic fight I've ever seen. So, yes, there will be drama. So make sure you tune into DAZN or be there at the O2. Fabio, anything you want to close off with?
Nah, just buzzing. Looking forward to it. Look, big time, big fights only now. And it's the big scene, big occasions. And I've been saying for a long time, I feel like I'm ready for the world stage. These big moments, these big fights, these high-level, top-tier opponents. So now's my time to go and prove it. And very much I'm in full form, ready to do so.
Brilliant. Listen, Fabio, I appreciate your time. Have a good camp. And we'll see you on Fight Week at the end of October.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.